Welcome to The Right Advice. My name is Randy.
And I'm Amber. And today we are going to talk about what we would like to see in Willow the series on Disney Plus. We are both huge fans of the original Willow movie. We've done a short video which we have already uploaded onto YouTube. That'll be a link in the description. And we will also be uploading a deep dive into everything that the original Willow movie did right, because they did so much right. So let's get right into it.
All right.
The stuff that we want to see or not see in the upcoming series. I really want to make sure that the original is not spoiled. So things that have happened in the original shouldn't be too different in the stage of progression, shouldn't be too much to the Willow series. Our characters should not have changed a whole lot off screen. And I know that it's been 30 years, but we can't jump into a series with characters we don't recognize. They've changed so much that we hardly recognize them. So Willow, I think he should be very much like how he is at the end of the movie. He's more confident in himself. He is more successful because now he knows magic as well, and he believes in himself. We know he's a hard worker. He's got his family. Maybe his kids have grown up and he's doing well in the village, and he misses the adventure a little bit. He kind of wants to have another adventure. I would like to see him crave another adventure like Bilbo in The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship. And another thing is I would like to see that that certain scenarios aren't changed from the original. So Bavmorda was the big bad. She was the most evil, powerful sorceress in the world. I don't think that she should come back, because her defeat was powerful because she was considered the biggest and baddest. Also, her soul was sent to oblivion. So that's what happened to her at the end. Willow defeats her, but she leans on her own altar that's supposed to send Elora Danan's spirit into oblivion, but now it's her soul who's gone into oblivion. So she can't be back. If she's brought back, it negates everything that happened in the original movie.
I agree. So Bavmorda needs to stay away. Right. Bringing her back, like you said, negates the entirety of the first movie. That was the whole goal. I really hate it because we've seen this in some series where the second movie or the third movie or whatever it is, the main villain comes back when really they shouldn't have. And we don't want to make the whole first movie irrelevant, because, yeah, what's the point of that? I want to look for something very different than I think what Amber's looking at. So for me, 30 years, a lot of time has gone past, right? So Willow's not going to look a lot like we want physically, and even character-wise. We should recognize the basic underlying traits for Willow. But the thing is, if he's the main character has a flaw, and he's going to change, and we got to see that flaw. And the natural outgrowth from doing a sequel is that you have to kind of project along that path. So Willow wasn't confident. He became a wizard. So now you project along that path. Willow is a competent wizard, maybe even a great wizard, and we need to see a problem that stems from that.
Okay, I can see that. I'm trying to imagine what sort of problems would arise from his situation. So we already know that he comes from a humble background, and he has a tender heart, especially for his family and for children and for his village. I mean, he's loyal to Migosh, and Migosh is loyal to him. So perhaps having power, as far as what his flaw might be, or the thing that he needs to defeat in himself, is that maybe he wants to go back. I don't know, what is he? I'm a little lost. I'm thinking maybe he wants to rely on his power a little bit too much. No, that's not a good one.
Maybe he doesn't want everyone coming to him for solutions. Maybe he's great at it.
Okay, I like that.
I'm just like, no, think for yourselves. It could entirely be he wants more people to think for themselves and quit relying on him.
Okay, I like that. It's definitely better than anything I could come up with right on the spot. So we've got Willow. What are some other characters? We've got Madmartigan. I really don't want them to do something where they say, oh, he turned out to be a terrible king or something. They set it up so that he would be a good king. Remember, Shalindria said, take Elora Danan to Tir's Lean, where a good king and queen will look after her. So the implication is that Sorsha and Mad Mardigan turn into a good king and queen.
Yeah.
So whether Val Kilmer comes in for the series or not, so whether Mad Mardigan was is present in the series or not, I think that he should have had a legacy of being a good king and Sorsha a good queen.
I agree. But because we know that Val Kilmer's having health problems, what I would do, in fact, I think I would use Val Kilmer much in the same way that he was used in Maverick, right? So almost a motivator. So I would have Mad Mardigan having recently died, and that is what's kicking off the threat that is facing the world now. He's been a good king, he's been a hero, and he has fought a battle and finally lost.
Or he is ill. I mean, we can go ahead and use Val Kilmer's situation, so maybe he can get in the film. He is ill, and the daughter has gone missing. I have heard that this is what the plot is that Elora Danan has gone missing. He is calling on Willow to please help him. You know, hey, you're the only other person who has loved Elora Danan like a father as I have, so could you find her in my stead? Which would be interesting because now he is the greatest swordsman of all time who is disabled, unable to go on this journey, and he's calling on the one who he said, I serve the Nelwyn, I serve Willow, who was at the beginning of the original movie. Mad Mardigan definitely looked down on him, and so I think that would be, I would like that a lot. I think that would be beautiful.
That would also be good. But I like killing characters, so I'd have them dead.
Okay. Brutal. Brutal. Okay, so I think one character who will be used a lot will be Sorsha, because I've seen her in the trailer. Joanna...
You know, that's cheating. I'm not going to make any of my guesses based on the trailer.
Okay. Well, if we know that this is supposed
Amber
to take...
can.
If we know this story takes place, 30 years later? 20 or 30 years later?
30 years later.
Okay. Then what we want to see... I mean, my goodness, in real life, it's been more than that, hasn't it?
No,
I think this came out in the 70s, the original Willow. So
been a long time.
It's been a while. But I think if it takes, however much longer it takes place, we want to see a lot of the same characters again.
Yes.
So we want to see the brownies. We want to see, I'd love to see, I'd like to find out what happens to Roselle. Does she end up becoming sort of an immortal? Probably not, but... Dead? Okay, jeez. Just kill them all off. Everybody's new.
I'm pretty sure the actress has passed away. I mean, she was
she was older,
age
so...
when she was kind of older when she played, and I imagine. So I would just respect that in the movie.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from characters, what sort of elements would you like to see in the show?
Well, you talked about Elora Danan, but I didn't talk about that.
Go ahead.
So I would definitely want her to be a key character in this, right? So she's the baby in the first one, and depending on how much time has actually elapsed, is it 30 or is it 50 years, we could actually be looking at Elora Danan being a mother, and her child has been taken.
Okay.
Right? And because I imagine that Elora Danan has powers of her own that make her formidable, but her daughter might be vulnerable, and it gives it a nice... reversal, right? So in the first one, she's innocent and vulnerable and helpless and needs others, right? And now she's on the mom side, where in a way she's also helpless because maybe she has to stay and rule the kingdom or whatever the case might be, and she can now personally just go out there and snap her fingers and make everything better.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, there's a nice reversal there, and you can still stay very true to that character. We can still get that sense of insight that Elora Danan had as a baby.
Yeah, every time that she looked at a character or was held by a character in the original movie, the baby's facial expressions were accurate to how that character turns out. So a little uneasiness with Mad Mardigan, but in the end a smile, you know?
Right.
So
and then also reversal. So in the original Willow, the baby's with Willow most of the movie and taken at the end. So... why not reverse it? Why not have the baby
is
taken
gone?
at the beginning, gone?
Okay.
And Willow has to return the baby instead of keeping it away from the villain. I mean, so
Okay.
that's got a nice. So
Symmetry.
It's got a symmetry, and it will feel familiar because we're dealing with a lot of the same elements, and yet it's still going to feel different because we've kind of reversed, we flipped the situation.
Yeah. And okay, so let's go on to, I was going to bring up other elements.
Okay.
So other elements that you would like to see. And this can be the world, this can be the creatures, this can be the magic. You kind of described this type of journey that they go on. You want to see a journey again. I
Right.
do like the idea of seeing a journey again, except in the opposite direction where they've retrieved her and now they're bringing her back. Or I think that's what you meant. So elements, I want to see a very familiar world. I want it to look and feel like this has not, generations and generations has not gone by.
Right.
This is one generation, which not a whole lot is going to change. I mean, we're used to living in a world where things change really quickly, but this is based on medieval times, so things shouldn't be too different. Things should still feel old and lived in. It should feel, I would say, almost a smaller scale, but still have a grand feeling to it. I don't like what people tend to do today, or movie makers tend to do today with a fantasy world, is they show, look at this gigantic cityscape, or look at this huge thing that we've got going on, and it's all CGI, and it's not believable anyway. Willow felt organic because I think they really found some of these locations. They found real old castles to do, some of the stuff down below, and then they had matte paintings to fill in what happened above. So I would like it to feel not too different of a world, maybe a little cleaner, maybe a little bit less bleak. You'll notice there's smoke in just about every single scene of the original Willow, so maybe it's a little cleaner and fresher air if it's supposed to be a nicer place, but not too drastically different. I'm thinking about creatures now.
I want to see trolls and brownies.
Trolls and brownies, definitely want to see them. And dragons? Remember the kid in the beginning is dragons? Trolls?
Well, he does mention it, right? So, yeah,
Now
Willow's son.
there was a sort of a dragon in the Battle of Tirisleen. There was the two-headed
Yeah.
dragon. But, and I like that it's not what we would think of as a dragon.
Right.
Same thing with the trolls. I mean, you think of a troll, you think of, the Lord of the Rings troll, great, big,
And I think
gigantic,
he mentioned.
yeah.
So I think Willow's son mentions a third.
Yeah,
kind of
brownies,
creature.
dragons, and trolls. Brownies, dragons,
So we see. Okay, so we
trolls.
see all of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so, man, I'd like to see more trolls, and I'd like to see more brownies. But I wouldn't mind maybe a new list being generated by
Yeah.
Willow's grandson, right?
That would be fun, yeah.
Yeah.
New creatures, and always a unique take on it. I mean, really appreciated that even though these were terms we were familiar with, they didn't look anything like what we have grown up to think of as being a troll or a dragon. And I'd never heard of a brownie, but I thought they were hilarious. The brownies are amazing. Then let's see. So magic. I'm going to make a comment about the use of magic. I mean, I love the words that they use for the spells, and that Willow seems to know some nonsense words, but they still do magic. I loved that. But I want to make sure that magic does not solve the problems.
I would actually like to see kind of the reverse. So in the first movie, there is some magic, and Willow does not rely on magic because he's not a wizard yet. But I think I'd like to see Willow use a ton of magic this time.
But it doesn't work?
But it's not solving the problem. I'm not
Okay.
saying that he fails to do magic, but the magic itself does not solve the
I would
problem.
like that. That would be good. It might test the idea that he didn't learn, but maybe he's just started to rely on
And
his
that can be
magic.
part of his
Okay.
problem that he's dealing with, right? Now he's relying on magic all the time. When he was younger, he relied on his instinct.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I
Yeah.
like that. And depending on how you present that, it doesn't discount the lesson that he learned in the first one, because people tend to make the same sort of mistakes again and again. We go through cycles like, okay, I've learned how to be humble, and now I'm really proud of myself for being so humble, and then I realize, wait, I'm too full of myself, and I should have some humility.
Right. I'm humble in some ways, but I've kind of ignored the whole magic thing because everyone expects me to do
Okay.
magic, and I've let that part get away from me. I'm humble otherwise. I'm still kind to everyone. I'm still that family man and everything.
But I would say definitely
yeah.
don't take it too far,
Yeah.
Like keeping the I'm a family man and I care and lots of good loyalty, but maybe he's let the magic not go to his head so much as he relies on it too much. I like that. I could get behind that. But again, I have to say, not changing too much. It can't be so much that we don't recognize
Oh,
who
no,
he
no.
is.
I'm saying he would still be the same lovable Willow, but magic. Everyone expects him to do magic. You know, he's relied on it, and, you know, he can give us a line of, I've never found a situation that enough magic wouldn't be able to, you know,
Yeah.
to win through.
Yeah, I totally agree. So
Same is true with firepower, right?
okay, yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, you know, the two sorceresses at the end of Willow demonstrated some really wild power. So I'd like to see some of those, some familiar spells. I want to see some we know that we go, oh, I recognize that. But then also some new ones. It's always good to have some of the old, but introduce some new, and make sure that they still kind of fit in with the old style. You know, that they do something unexpected. So
Right. I would run a couple gags based on the first one.
Yeah.
So one of them is, I love Mad Mardigan when Willow threatens him when they first meet, and Willow threatens him with an acorn. And he's in that crow's cage. He's like, oh my gosh, there's a peck with an acorn aimed at me. Yeah, pointed at me, right? So I would love to see something similar. I mean, not the acorn, because they've already done that. But I'm sure Willow's had plenty of time to invent some new device, and I like to see that play off of it.
That would be fun. And you know what? That actually makes me think of something else I'd like to see. The variety of genre types in the storytelling. So we pointed out in our other video that, actually it's in our deep dive, which is probably not up on YouTube yet, but it will be.
Probably not.
The original Willow series had a lot of different genre styles in it. It had comedy, drama, horror, a little bit of mystery. It had a lot mixed into it. So I would like to see a good mix of that in the series.
Except for romance. No romance.
No, I like the romance. It wasn't too much. That's why it was nice, is because it wasn't overpowering, and it was actually, it made fun of itself a little bit, you know, because the dust of the broken heart.
Romance is bad, so
bad.
just leave it out.
Romance is good. Good for a well-rounded story is if you have a little bit of everything. There's scary stuff, there's funny stuff.
That's what the romance
there's
is the
tense
scary stuff.
The scary, no, it's not scary.
I'm just kidding, honey. That was just a joke. Not that she's going to watch.
I have doubts.
That she watches?
No, I have doubts about how your wife feels about that comment. Okay, so anything else that you can think of that we hope to see? Oh, not an overabundance of CGI. Just because that's
right.
the thing I don't enjoy. It takes it out of the world for me. I like it to feel organic.
Yeah, most of the best parts of Willow aren't CGI at all.
Yeah,
right?
it's the story.
It's just the story and that beautiful background, that beautiful countryside that they have, and landscape and everything, and those sets, right, which feel like an
real.
Old castle, right?
Yeah, you can see the moss between the bricks in both. I've watched it for it this time in the Bavmorda's castle and in the not the Hobbit town, the Nelwyn's town.
Yeah.
Their houses look old. They look like they've been there forever. I love that. Yeah. So all right. So we want it to have a similar aesthetic to the old film. We want it to take the characters a little bit further than where they were, or maybe a little bit more further than for you, than they were at the end. And we just want a good, similar feeling. We want that good mix, because you know the joy of Willow is that it makes you laugh, makes you cry. I still cry every single time that Willow sees Kaya at the very end. He goes, she goes, Willow, and he goes, Kaya, and they're running to each other. I'm not exaggerating. I actually have to sit there and go, oh, don't cry. But it's so beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
I like that part too.
Yeah, you've really been on the journey with him. So I would like to see all of that, and hopefully the writers are able to pull through with this. It's going to be tough to live up to what Randy and I believe to be.
And there's one thing that I really don't want to see, which is, this is Willow. So I'd like to see a story that's about Willow, that he's the central character, and whoever he's helping, that's fine, but that he is the hero, and it's his story, and everyone else is supporting cast.
Oh, are you worried that
story.
he might be supporting cast?
I'm afraid that he might, or he might be the funny,
sage?
the fool character. And I'd hate to see that happen.
I would see him more coming on as the new sage. So he would be the one
He
who's
should.
advising everybody. I could see that. It's tough to tell a story where the sage is your central character, but I think he's an interesting enough character, and a lovable enough character that he'd still be interesting. And the people around him can have the big major problems. For instance, Mad Mardigan went through one of the most significant changes in the original, and also Sorsha, although her role was tiny. So anyway, yeah, I think like I said, the writers have a big challenge in front of them. Hopefully they'll be able to do it right, and we're going to be watching it together.
And if not, I'm available. You guys can just give me a call, and I'll come and I'll fix the whole thing.
Yeah, sometimes I gotta wonder though. Sometimes I watch movies and I go, oh, why didn't they just go to BookTube or these reviewers who go like, this is what I would have done. And I go, yes, that's what they should have done. Anyway, we love this series, this movie. It is, in Randy's and my opinion, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, fantasy film of all time. It's just so well written. So they've got a big challenge ahead of them. And my fingers are crossed, and I really, really hope that they're able to pull something off. So
Yeah, and this is the year to do it. I mean, look at Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
Top Gun Maverick. I mean, that, it was actually better than the original movie, in my opinion, which is incredibly hard to do.
Yeah.
So let's believe in the magic. I mean, it's almost December. Let's believe that magic happens, and the Willow series is going to be just as good as the original movie.
With a really good soundtrack too.
Yeah.
You think we covered just about everything?
That's it.
I think so. All right. Well, we will see you after we've checked out episode 1.
Yeah, we'll report back on what we thought and see how close it came out to what I would have done if I was writing that, and what we think of the show.
All right.